Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing the next 4 stages, stages 103 to 106, the Hachette Partworks release and build the Mark III Lancaster bomber. I'm laughing today because I'm hiding it at the moment, but I found another way because I need to have this Lancaster upside down today to put some bits in. Most of it today we're doing the stand, but we are installing the Bombay doors here. But I found another way to do it, and it involves my jaw shark. The actual teeth grip it. It's crazy. You're going to see. It's going to see that in a minute. I don't think this is available anymore, but I have still got the link in the video description and the QR code on the screen. I'm sure you can pick up some of these past issues through eBay or something like that. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So here you go, this is stage 103, and as you can see we've got a part of the base that we're going to be putting in, but first we are going to be installing the first half of the Bombay doors. Now I'm just seeing, do we get screws in this pack? We don't, so I think those screws came in the last pack, so I need to dig them out, and this is the rest of the magazine. Okay, yep, I've dug out the screws, they're here. Check this out. Look, I've got my shark. And what I do is I hold it that way around, put this into one of the teeth there to stop it going anywhere, just like that, so I can actually fit these Bombay door parts on here. Now the reason I'm lifting that end up and not this end is because that's where the guns are, which are easy to break. So we've got a little gap to put this in here. So what I need to do is get these hinges, and I have moved this down, and they're going to be sliding in between the gap between the cockpit and the frame. So let's get each one of these in. There you go. They're all in just like that. Get those screws, and each side is going to have 2 screws going into place. Hopefully you can see that. So I'll get all of these screws in now. Matter of fact, I don't actually need that shark. Look, I went to all the trouble to get it, and I don't need it because the screws are actually going in through the side here. So it should be easy to put them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 2 end hinges first, making sure that little shaft from the motor is coming out the side. There's a little hole there. Hopefully you can see that on the top camera. And just get all of these screws into place. I am using oil to help me here because I do want these screws in to go really far and tight because I don't want it to impede the fuselage that's going to be on the outside here. And this is the last screw just going in here. Once that's done, I'm going to put this back on a stand because we're going to be working on the frame now. But that is the door in, and as you can see, it can open and it can close. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to bring up the frame here, which we've been working on, and I haven't even opened the pack yet, so let's do that. All the parts for this bit of the frame are in here. So if I've got the speaker here and I've got the power switch here, I'm going to be working on this side here now, and I'm going to be putting this into place, which is actually just going to go on here like that. Now to put this in, I've got, let's just stand this up on its side, a large bracket to go in there, and just like all the other brackets here, it's going to be held in with the silver screws. These are, they have got a leather on them, I think. Yep, these are JM screws, and I'll get this into place. That's the last screw just going into that bracket there, and then all I'm going to do is reinforce that by putting this bracket onto these 2 points here. Perfect. So that's that corner there reinforced. Now if I just flip this round again, it's not very structurally sound at the moment, unfortunately, because we haven't got any braces at the bottom, but I am going to be putting another bracket in here, just like this. And that's the bracket here without any holes at the top, so it's just got a flat section. And at the moment, that's what the frame's looking like. But as I said, it's got no integrity here because we've got nothing down the bottom yet. But I can just put that on the floor and bring over the base that we're working on. As you can see, we've got one more panel to put in here. So I'm just going to flip this over, and you can see where this is going to go. Again, I'm following the same pattern as all the other ones that we had. So that's going in like this. I need 3 of these black JP screws here to hold that in. So that means now that that is complete as well. So moving swiftly on to stage 104, as you can see, we've got the other side of the Bombay door, and we've got another part of the base frame there, which we're going to put the base frame in, just like this. And it looks like we get to slide that panel in as well now, just like that. And then we're putting some brackets down the bottom to keep this into place. So then this is quite a rigid section. That base is certainly coming along. And then we're doing the other Bombay door, just like that. So I'll tell you now, because we've got the whole frame coming up here, I think this is going to be a little bit of a nightmare to film. Let's put the hinges to one side and the Bombay door. Okay, bringing up the frame again. I'm going to be putting the next side in just here. Whoops, other way around, like this, and securing that in with one of the silver JM screws. There you go, that's in there. And then I've got another bracket that looks just like this, which is going to go on this side here, held in with a JM screw. And now I'm in a position to hold this way around, make sure everything's lined up, and I'm going to be sliding in the panel. It's in. I can't really show you it's in, but it's in. I'll show you it in a second once I've actually secured this down. And I've zoomed up my top camera to give you an idea how that is. So you can see the battery box here is next to the switch. Excellent. And we're now in a position to start putting this together. So the side furthest away, probably best on the top camera, from the battery box over here, we've got some flanged JP screws which are going to go into the base here. This is that bracket that's going to hold this in. This is going to start reinforcing that frame now. We are still using silver JM screws though, for the ones that are going into the wood here. Now we have got some more of these brackets which we had from previous packs which we're going to be putting into place. I'm going to be putting them around the sides. And this is the last screw just going in here now. So that base is now firmly attached to the sides. And this is how big that base is looking at the moment. Pretty good. Let's put this on the floor, because I do have the other side of the Bombay doors now to do, which means putting the hinges into place. And I'm putting these in with PP screws, which I've got here. So I'm making sure that when I put these in, they're going in that way. So the bent section's the one that's hanging down, the flat section's the one that's hanging up, and it should look just like that. So I'm going to get all 4 of those hinges in here with these screws. And there you go, that's all of those hinges in place there. So I'm going to put this into the Lancaster, and I am going to use my shark here, because once again I need to feed this through the holes at the side here, which are between the frame and the cockpit base. And there you go, they've gone in absolutely fine. And just like last time, we've got the screws here that I'm going to use to hold them in place. Oil is definitely a friend doing this. They are quite tight to get in. And this is the last screw going in here. So once that's in, looking like that, as you see, we've got magnets in that side, but we need to put the magnets in the other side, or the actual shims of metal. And it's just a case of pushing them into the slots here, all the way down. So as you can see, when these shut then, they are in a position to actually engage. So they're not going to open when it's upside down. But that is how that's looking at the moment. There's actually quite a bit to do in this pack really, isn't there? 105, as you can see, we've got a control power board now. This is the board that's going to provide power to the Lancaster. We're going to be putting that into place in the base. So that's quite an easy stage. And this is what that's looking like. I've got the screws here as well. And all I'm going to do is bring up the base, looking like this. And I'm going to want to put this over the top here and put screws into each one of those stays. This is the last screw just going in here. With that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. So that leaves the last stage of this pack, which is stage 106, and we're going to do the port tailplane and the circuit board we've got. So we're going to make this tailplane here, just like that, and it looks like we're putting some sort of bracket circuit board. I don't know what that is actually over the top there, putting that into place. It is. It's a little circuit board. Look at that, and there you go. Look at that. It looks like we've got a lithium battery coming in the next one. And that's interesting. And that's what that circuit board's looking like. Okay, first thing to do, we've got to take these little parts here. We've got bushes to put over each one. So one's going in there. The other one's going in this side, just like that. Now this is going to be going into this side here, but they are slightly different. So this actually goes into here just like that there. We're going to be putting one in the other side, but it doesn't have those bushes on. It's just going to sit in like that. Let me lie this flat actually. So that is how that should look. And then what I'm going to do is take the top section, which looks like this, and this is going to be going over the top to pin all of that into place. So line everything up, put it down, and press it down into position. Perfect. And there you go. Nice and easy. Now I'm going to be actually putting this onto this side. So these are going to go over the top here and here, just like that. And I'm holding them in with HP screws. Well, actually, I'm putting 2 HP screws just in this side. These are the silver flange screws. But get this, we're not putting any screws in that side. So that's interesting. Gonna hold this together by putting the top over here like this and pushing it down into place. And there we go. That has created a tailplane. That's brilliant. Bring up the frame again. And I'm going to stand up for this because I need to put this stay in now. This is what this is. This is a stay just into this section there. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm holding that down with MP screws. This is a remarkably difficult one to film, I have to say. And then what we're going to do is take the circuit board now, and we're going to put it in this way into position just there, like that. It's going to be held in with some EP screws. So I've got them here. All I'm going to do then is the switch, which is this one here, is going to be plugged into port W, which is the center port. Hopefully you can see it on the side camera, just like that. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. Boy, that was a hard one to film, but obviously we've done the little tailplane here. We've done the Lanc, which I'll leave over there at the moment, and we've done this absolutely ginormous base. We've got circuit board and a power board in there now as well. That is quite a footprint, and I'm getting tangled up here. Put that down. So I don't know where I'm keeping this now. Who knows? Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.